You know those expensive stream decks that streamers use to launch apps and trigger hotkeys? What if you could build your own for a fraction of the cost, with every piece of hardware and software completely open source? That is exactly what Fady Faheem set out to do with Stream 32. You know those expensive stream decks that streamers use to launch apps and trigger hotkeys? What if you could build your own for a fraction of the cost, with every piece of hardware and software completely open source? That is exactly what Fady Faheem set out to do with Stream 32, an open-source stream deck built around the ESP32 platform that you can build, understand, repair, and adapt to your own workflow. Fady shared this project on the open-source subreddit as a side project he has been working on, and the response from the community has been surprisingly positive for a brand new repository. Stream 32 lives at the GitHub repository Fady Faheem/Stream32 and carries an MIT license. The project is written in JavaScript and powered by Node.js 22 or newer. According to the README, the goal is a device you can build, understand, repair, and adapt without proprietary hardware or software lock-in. You buy an off-the-shelf touch display, flash it from the desktop app, and lay out pages of keys that launch apps, press hotkeys, run multi-step actions, and more. Everything needed to reproduce and modify the project lives in the open. The project logo is a simple icon that reads Stream 32, reinforcing the project name and its ESP32 roots. The Getting Started guide walks through 4 clear steps. First, you pick a supported display from the buying guide. The 2 currently supported options are the Waveshare ESP32S3 Touch LCD4 with a 400 by 400 pixel screen on a 4-inch display, supporting up to 5 by 5 keys across 8 pages in revision 3.0 only, not revision 4 or the 4.3-inch board. The second option is the Electro Crow panel, advanced 10.1-inch display with a 1024 by 600 resolution, supporting up to 40 keys per page across 8 pages, though it needs both UART0 data and USB 2.0 power. Purchase links and buying tips are in the dedicated buying guide file. Once you have your display wired up, the next step is installing the desktop companion app. Stream 32 ships installers for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. You connect your ESP32 board over USB and let the app download and flash the matching firmware automatically. After that, you build your deck by adding pages and keys, then assigning actions to each one. The desktop app supports profiles, focused app switching, editing, and something called multi-actions that let you chain together multiple steps. The Getting Started guide walks through each step, including the USB and power requirements for each board. One of the more interesting aspects of Stream 32 is its action plugin system. The repository includes documentation for both installing existing plugins and writing your own. This means the device is not locked into a fixed set of actions. As the project notes, board profiles and firmware are versioned independently of the desktop app, so adding a compatible board does not require a desktop release. Pull requests that touch the desktop app get packaged on all 3 platforms automatically. To build an installer locally, you just run a single npm command for your current platform. For developers who want to dive in, the Electron Companion lives in the desktop folder of the repository. You need Node.js 22 or newer. Then you run npm sci to install dependencies and npm start to launch the app. Before opening a pull request, you run npm test and npm run check to make sure everything passes. The release process requires the package version and git tag to match. For example, you bump the version with npm version, commit the package file changes, tag the release, and push to origin. The V prefix on the tag triggers the release workflow that packages builds for all 3 platforms. The community response has been encouraging. One commenter joked about reading about an open-source Steam Deck, playing on the similarity to Valve gaming handheld. More seriously, someone pointed out that If this could turn into a satellite surface for BitFocus Companion, that would be a game changer for streamers. Another commenter confirmed they are already working on creating BitFocus Companion support for the project. Someone else who had looked into BitFocus Companion expressed they would create support. The project has also been picked up by Open Alt Finder, a resource for alternative open source projects. The repository currently sits at 3 stars and was posted to the open source subreddit with 0 comments at the time the brief was written. The YouTube short accompanying the post gives a visual walkthrough of the device in action, showing the touch display responding to key presses in real time. Despite its small numbers, the project has a clear roadmap and a functional desktop app that ships installers for all 3 major platforms. The custom hardware designs, including schematics, bill of materials, and enclosures, are still on the roadmap. The USB protocol between the board and the desktop app is documented in the board's README for contributors who want to add new board support. Stream 32 offers a functional Stream Deck alternative anyone can build and customize. With its plug-in system and growing BitFocus Companion support, check the description link to explore the project yourself.